was looking for this. I thought I didn't see it up on top. Yep. Good morning. Would we all please stand for the invocation provided by Commissioner Barr, and then we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance.
May we bow in attitude of prayer. Gracious Heavenly Father, we say thank you for this very beautiful September day. Thank you for the opportunity to be present and to serve others. Lord, we're so encouraged by the excitement and the camaraderie and the working together across this great community. We think of the school board, the University of Maryland, folks downtown, the chamber, and community foundation where we were earlier this morning. Just the excitement and the interest of preserving and making our community a better place. Thank you for these opportunities. Thank you for this drive. May you continue to bless all involved. Direct us and guide us today, we pray in thy name. Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Barr. I'd like to ask for the approval of the September 12th, 2017 minutes. Need a motion?
Approve. Second.
Motion a second for the approval of the minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Abstain. I was not here last week.
And I didn't attend this meeting in Keedysville.
Okay, so you're only approving what we discussed?
Yes, sir, if that's appropriate.
So he's half yes, half abstain.
How about I just abstain, make it easier, but it's noted on the record that it was meant correct. Thank you.
Good memory. Thank you.
I'm lucky. Think of.
Commissioners' reports and comments. We'll just start with Commissioner Kiefer, if that's okay.
Nothing today. I'll save them for tonight in Sharpsburg.
Okay.
I will pass too. Thank you.
Nothing here. Well, I guess I'll take everyone's spot here this morning.
10 minutes.
Two quick things. I can't help but mention Maryland Association of Counties, and if you haven't heard, Kevin Kamenetz, the current president, resigned yesterday morning because shortly thereafter he announced that he is running for to be the next governor of Maryland. He is a Democratic candidate and could not serve in both capacities. So with that news, the board of directors of MACO around noon was informed that Jerry Walker, a great guy that I know personally from Anne Arundel County Commissioner, went from first vice president to president of MACO, and Jerry will do a phenomenal job. As a matter of fact, I understand Jerry helped participate with the individual county visits earlier this summer and did quite a few of them on the Eastern Shore. So really looking forward to working with Jerry, and in particular when his term officially takes charge at the December winter conference. Last week, thank you for your patience in my absence. I did attend a 50th anniversary of the National Association of Development Organizations, which our own Tri-County Council, which I'll be chair of as of January 1st for next year. It rotates between the three western counties. Leanne Mazer, our your executive director of Tri-County Council, Guy Winterberg is deputy administrator, and I, along with Bill Atkinson's from the state of Maryland, did travel to Anchorage, Alaska, which was quite a haul, but there was 500 folks there from all over the country that are part of this development organization's national association. I might also add that I don't know what year it was, but Leanne Mazer from Tri-County Council is a past president. So she's very much connected and very much involved. And I had a pretty active 4 days there with that group. One of the things I sat in on, they had planetary sessions, and the one session that when I walked in, had no idea what I was really, taking part of, but it got me so stirred up, and it was so much appropriate and into what is going on, and I mentioned it in the prayer here this morning with downtown. And if you will allow me, I'd like to read this real quick. It's called The Power of Creative Placemaking. And placemaking is a kind of a new buzzword for these developmental organizations. And this presentation was Creative Placemaking integrates the arts and culture into public spaces to fuel economic growth, spark civic engagement, and improve overall quality of life. From free concert series in parks to mural projects in vacant lots to public art and storefronts. The benefits of creative placemaking projects are numerous, including increased foot traffic, which often drives economic activity, reduces crime, and builds positive perceptions of a place. Creative placemaking projects also create environments where neighbors connect, voices are expressed, and traditions are celebrated. Then it goes on to talk about the two moderators. But the one moderator was from the Levitt Foundation out of Los Angeles, California. Must be, I don't know, I haven't looked them up, but they must be a huge and financially rich and deep foundation. And they take applications annually, and they're helping cities all over the United States with projects just like and very similar to downtown Hagerstown's arts and cultural trail, enhancements of streetscape, meeting places like the proposed plaza behind the Maryland Theater and the courthouse and all that. So I'm working with Rodney Tissue. We're going to try to put some things together, and it may be a little late for this year's presentation to the Levitt Foundation for a grant, but I would hope certainly in particular to the plaza, if we couldn't pursue something with them even next year. So it was a great conference, a little jet lag, a little travel wear and tear, but I'm glad I went, and I think it's, once again, it was a good conference. So thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, she was.
For myself, I did have an opportunity to attend the UIP meeting yesterday, and we'll have to say it was a great meeting. I thoroughly enjoyed all of the knowledge that I've gained on the project for the downtown UIP, and we were presented with a conceptual plan through MSB Architects, and it was really a well thought out conceptual plan, and it was. They provided us with the opportunity to submit suggestions to the plan, and I'm sure Rob will be submitting some suggestions, and then I'll be able to take the next step. And also, they talked a little bit about the parking deck, but that's a future project. I thought they had mentioned possibly for 400 cars in that parking deck, but that would be possibly a future project to the UIP. As it's being currently planned. And we also talked a little bit about the bridge. They had some designs of bridges and so forth, talked about it being closed or enclosed or open. So those discussions continue. And there was about 25 people in attendance. I thought it was a great turnout, a lot of interested individuals there. And they also thought I heard this correctly, that Bowman for the school down there, that was going to be put out for bid sometime in October. So the school board's moving forward with their project, and I'm very, very thankful that I did attend. And I plan on attending the next meeting unless there's another commissioner that would like to attend the meeting. And I did suggest yesterday that would be to the group that it would be, I think, a good idea for all of the commissioners to possibly attend a meeting in the future if they, can find the time in their schedule. So I think it'd be, you would very much enjoy and like what you hear at the meeting. So thanks to everyone that moved that meeting forward yesterday. Okay, any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, moving forward, let's go to reports from county staff. We have any staff here today that care to provide a report?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good
I would
morning.
just like to get you up to speed with some of the activities at the department or the division. Tomorrow morning, 4 members of the Division of Emergency Services, including Director Hayes, Sam Anderson, Kevin Lewis, and Alan Crawford, will be leaving Washington County, flying out of Baltimore Washington Airport for Fort Lauderdale. They've been given an assignment as members of the Maryland Incident Management Team to assist in recovery efforts in Florida. It's right now I think it's a 15-day deployment, which could be modified either way, a little bit more, a little bit less. But as members of the Maryland Incident Management Team, we were requested to come together with a package of personnel that could go to Florida and assist them in the operations of either their EOCs or their base camps. And it looks like right now we will be managing a base camp, probably somewhere in the Keys. There's 3 possible camps that we will help to manage. So just wanted you to know that some of those our members of DES will be out of pocket for a little while as we help them through their endeavors in Florida. Any questions?
Thank you, and good luck with everything. Any other staff comments? Okay, Mr. Slocum?
President, Commissioners, three or four things here very quick. Reminder, Sharpsburg meeting is tonight, this evening, starts at 7 o'clock in Sharpsburg. Hancock is next week after a visit to Landco. There is a public, there was some question about this, so I wanted to be completely clear. The groundbreaking at Hancock Library is open to the public. It will be in the agenda, next week's agenda, which is posted online later this week. So exact times, I believe it's about 6 o'clock. We'll be out there at the Hancock Library, provided weather, heaven forbid it's raining or something. I think we'll try to do something very quick and then get into the town hall at Hancock. Then coming up next, early October, October 10, we have a joint meeting with the city. And one other thing that staff's been working diligently on policy, and Steph's here. She's going to bring that forward to you as one of the agenda items as far as an overall look at policy and procedures and so forth. So I'm excited to hear more about that and have you learn about that as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other staff comments? Any boards or commissions? Okay, 10:15, citizens participation time. We have any citizens here today that care to participate? Please come forward, tell us what you'd like for us to know. Okay, no citizens participation. Maryland Aviation Administration special request, number 1, approval to accept awarded funding. Ms. Laypole. Mr. Rodnair, how are you two today?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, hope you are doing well too. Again, I'm Stephanie Laypole, Grant Manager with Office of Community Grant Management, and with me today is Director Phil Ridenauer from the Hagerstown Regional Airport. We are seeking approval for the acceptance of the award from the Maryland Aviation Administration in the amount of $112,500. The Hagerstown Regional Airport submitted a formal request on July 25, 2017, seeking approval for a special grant to fund the additional upgrades to the existing virtual perimeter monitoring system. Phase 3 of the project includes the modernization of the wireless infrastructure, upgrading the existing wireless internet capabilities of the newly installed perimeter cameras, which were installed in Phase 2. The Office of Community Grant Management has reviewed the funding guidelines. This grant pays up to 75% of the total project cost. There is a 25% match associated in the amount of $37,500, which was approved in the airport's CIP budget. Are there any questions?
So if no questions, motion to approve.
Moved.
I have a motion and a second for the approval. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good.
President Baker,
Yes.
I think we have one citizen that might have trouble hearing. Is there any way our IT people listening could turn it up, or we'd ask the guest to speak closer to the microphone? Okay? I don't know. He's the gentleman there in the black. He couldn't hear. I think we just have our presenter speak closer to the microphone. Sir, everybody can hear us better now? Okay, we just need people to speak closer to the microphone. Okay. All right, we'll speak closer to the microphone and you'll know then. Thank you. Okay, so if everybody speaks close, you can hear it. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Civil War Rail Trail response to August 1st presentation. Mr. Hobbs. How are you this morning?
Fine, thank you. Scott Hobbs, Director of Engineering for Washington County. I'm here to follow up, as you mentioned, the response to an August 1st presentation provided here in 2017 from Chip Wood, Consulting Environmental Engineer, and Dan Spedden, President of the Hagerstown, Washington County Convention and Visitors Bureau, described to the Board of Commissioners on August 17th the Civil War Rail Trail project that was previously presented to the Commissioners in 2012. Mr. Wood requested the Commissioners ask staff to review the documents prepared by him and provide an assessment. We have reviewed the documents, and it appears that the land is owned by the Department of Natural Resources and CSX. In 1991, DNR purchased a portion of the railroad corridor from CSX for $550,000.
Scott, pardon me, but would you speak closer to the microphone?
Sure.
Pardon my interruption of you, but he was having difficulty.
Okay.
hearing. Thank you.
This abandoned corridor runs from approximately Roxbury Road to the C&O Canal towpath, as shown on the attached aerial map. It was sold as a quitclaim deed and lists the original parcel acquisitions, but did not have detailed deed description and title listing for each parcel and acquisition. Since then, DNR has not taken an active role in assertion of ownership or maintenance of the property. DNR's responsibility as the owner is to respond and resolve any uncertainty regarding a challenge to their ownership of the land. We're here today to share with you that county staff has not worked on the project since 2012. With that, again, the aerial map is attached that shows the CSX ownership railroad as an active railroad, and then from Roxbury Road to the C&O Canal towpath shows DNR's ownership of the land. So with that, if there's any questions or comments.
Okay, any questions, comments from the commissioners? So the DNR does own the well, you're thinking the DNR could possibly own the property.
Yes, based on our initial review of all the documents provided, that's our assessment.
Okay, so I remember Mr. Spedden making a comment that day, but I don't remember exactly how he worded it, but I thought he had mentioned the DNR in his comments, Mr. Spedden. So, but I don't,
Yes, I recall that.
yeah. So maybe I would mind if we could somehow go back and archive the discussions. I'd like to know what Mr. Spedden had said about the DNR. If you could, I guess that would be for you. So. Okay, so any other questions or thoughts? Okay, thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Hobbs.
so much.
Revised and updated policies. Ms. Stone?
Steph?
Good morning. I am Stephanie Stone, Director of Health and Human Services. And one thing I do need to do is give you an updated version of the attachment, which says Health and Human Service policies at the top. Kendall and I worked on this, and it was already on the agenda by the time we got this updated. So I'm going to give you a copy. It says the same thing. Okay. There's no motion. Did Leroy? Do you want me to wait on Leroy?
No.
Or not? Okay. There's no motion required at this time. But what I wanted to bring you up to date on is that the Division of Health and Human Services has been working with the County Attorney's Office for several years. What we want to do is bring revised policies before you. They have to be accepted by the commissioners. Some have been recently, have already been, but what we want to do is bring them to you as a package that updates all of our policies, the policies that Health and Human Services has anything to do with, which is policies that say PR number or an EB number or RMS number. And that's what you have on your handout. So, like I said, we've been working with Kendall and John on these for several years, and it's our intent over the course that we are going to make sure a lot of them, which are already updated but just haven't been brought to you, that we're going to work on them. And what we're intending is to bring all of the policies to you on October 31st, 2017, and give you those new policies and give you the opportunity to take a look at them, ask us questions, and that sort of thing. So if you look at the handout which I just gave you, you'll have the number of the employee benefits, which go down from 1 to 15. By them are remarks as to what's going on with them. For example, our tuition reimbursements program, there's going to be no changes proposed, but what we do want is to have an updated date on when that has been approved. Same with all of these, and I'll go down to EB6, which is a retirement buyback. This particular policy is no longer applicable. This program doesn't exist. However, we do have the ability for somebody, if they're talking, this doesn't take away from the fact that if you want to get a lump sum of your retirement, you can. This is a different policy that doesn't have anything to do with that. Nothing has changed with the retirement policy. If you look down at EB8, we want to consolidate anything having to do with personal days into our upcoming PR 34 leave policy. So I don't need to go down through all these. You guys can certainly read them. But I just wanted to let you know that there's another, if you come down to the personnel group, there are many, probably about 5 or 6 of the policies that we're going to consolidate into one policy, which will be PR 24, and it's encompassing everything that happens with the hiring process. Again, I just talked about it, but what we want to do is anything having to do with leave, we want to put into one policy, which will be the PR 34. So many of these policies won't change. Many of them you've already seen fairly recently. There are a lot that have not, that there might be minor changes. I just want to let you know we're not looking to make major changes. We're just trying to bring the policies up to date to what our current practice is. Any questions? It comes at a good time because, as you know, we're in the process of working on our Oracle changeover from PeopleSoft, and that has brought up some things that we need to make sure we update and go with what's going on with that Oracle process.
Stephanie, I just
Yes.
have a quick question.
Sure.
With so many minor tweaks and changes that's taking place, how would this be communicated to employees? Is the idea to update an employee handbook, or how do you envision this information being disseminated?
As soon as these policies are approved, we will update the employee handbook to summarize them. They will also be available online through a process that's a Power DMS process. It's the same thing the Sheriff's Office uses. What we'll be able to do is put the policy out there, ask employees to read through them, and sign off that they have seen them. And that's, like I say, the same software package that the Sheriff's Office uses for their policy. So we're going to have that into place, and we'll redo the employee handbook, and we have something we're going to be using that should bring that together fairly quickly, and we should have the updated policy manual done by the end of the year. Okay?
Stephanie, that brings me a question. You mentioned
Yes.
some of these policies hadn't been updated for several years. Will there now be a regular scheduled routine review of these, and the commissioners and employees updated on these as we go?
Absolutely. I want to, as part of this, probably go through and look at 1/3 of the policies on an every year basis. So over the course of 3 years, we would have all updated
And
policies.
anything that would be brought to your attention would be updated anyway.
Correct. And the other thing is, I want to let you know that we will be including anything that's changed with state or federal policy over the course of the last, few years.
Okay.
They'll all be updated.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
I have one quick one. PR 36, tobacco-free campus.
Yes.
Do you know, does that include vehicles?
Vehicles already have a tobacco-free county policy.
Okay.
This would be for our campus. We don't address that. But I'm not sure if we've addressed that in the new policy, but that's a good question.
We'll take a look at that. I think what we're proposing is a tobacco-free campus. So,
Correct. So I guess that would be included.
Does that include vapor too?
Yes.
obviously, the date's definitely referenced. That's actually, I think that's the date, October 31st, that we're looking at.
Yes.
To actually have an in-depth discussion with the commissioners on any of the proposed changes. I think at that time, Stephanie and with Kendall's assistance will be going through these policies in more detail. But in the meantime, if you have questions or any other, obviously you can
Comments or anything you've thought of?
you can talk to Rob and I. So I think there's going to be some time set aside just to review, so you can all review and have questions for staff, and we can look through all these policies in in-depth discussion. And I think Stephanie said this, but I think that the goal is to have all these policies in a centralized location, either on the internet or I think on the internet.
It's going to be both.
And just so we can all know, from the commissioners to the staff to all the employees, that here's all the county policies. They're up to date, and that was a good question. And we had that discussion too about once that happens, then we'll continue to review those on a yearly basis. Now we have county staff has been reviewing policies when issues arise, and as Stephanie said, we've been looking at these policies for a while now. So it's a good time to look at those and present all those, and then we'll have an up-to-date set of policies that everybody can rely on and move forward. So I think that's the goal.
Also, on some of the policies, if there are violations and all of that, would you talk about anything on consequences be mentioned?
We have a policy that does talk about consequences of going against any policies. That's a separate one, and I believe it's called, of course, it's not going to come to me right here. PR2, which is a progressive disciplinary and dismissal policy, would be where we would talk about if any policies or any rules of the county would come up. We already have that in place, but we want to make sure it's updated.
Part of the excitement with this process too is that there will be a central place on the website which will be accessible by staff. Everybody will be working from literally the same sheet of music or the same policy book. It's very difficult for each employee to keep a policy book updated of their own, so this will be very handy, which fits hand in glove with the fact that James and the PR staff and IT are working on a new website for Washington County, which is woefully outdated. So we're excited about that, excited about the policies. There's a lot of invigoration by staff to get this done. So, and I do want to thank John's office and Kendall for working hand in hand with Steph on this.
One other thing I'd like to add, one of the good things from being a councilman or a commissioner, we had MML and MACO, and we go there and we get a lot of training too that coincides with these policies. Is there going to be any ongoing training for us or any of the employees to keep them informed and more detailed explained other than reading?
Absolutely. My office is putting together a process that we will have available to all employees and particularly to supervisors, and we're working on that process. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Good, thank you.
Stephanie, I think as part of preparation for the October 31 discussion or work session, I think part of your plan is that you're going to be getting actual content, like in a packet form, for the commissioners to review beforehand, right? So they're not they have an opportunity to take a look at the proposed changes before we actually sit down, so they can kind of plan and.
Absolutely. I don't know if we have a target date for when you all would need that or whether we would give them as we finish them. I don't know if you have a preference about that. As Kendall and I go through these, we could give you a whole package, certainly with plenty of time for you to read through before we go to the work session.
My thought is at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
14 days, ample time. There's a lot of material. Speaking out of from two different perspectives, there is a lot of material. However, the majority of the material isn't changing.
Right.
So, things are going to look new and different, but we will at staff level take the work to try to point out what's changed for.
Okay, anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, a motion to go into closed session for reasons stated.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? 5-0.